Hey, Brad Kearns here reporting right in the middle of a wonderful week of track and field at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan. I'm enjoying the television coverage so much. These are my favorite athletes, some of the most amazing athletes on the planet. And boy, there's so much opportunity to consume content these days. I've kind of dropped off my ability to really be a sports fan following sports. There's just too much going on out there. So I'm completely dedicated to track and field. I've created my niche life and my niche consumption of content where I consume everything possible about track and field, but I've kind of fallen off NBA, NFL, college football. Sorry, people. I mean, I got a bare, basic notion of what's going on in the other sports. But oh boy, if you're not a track and field fan, I direct you to YouTube to check out some of the great excerpts from NBC where they'll put the various events up there. You can watch an 8-minute video instead of having to watch a 3-hour broadcast if you're short on time. But by the time I publish this, the news will already be out. No spoilers, but we just saw one of the greatest contests in the history of track and field in the women's 400 meters, featuring the American superstar Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, specialty 400-meter hurdles. She's broken the world record, I believe, 6 times, a couple Olympic gold medals, several world championship titles, and what a great credit to a champion athlete. She said, you know what I'm going to do this year, 2025? I'm going to focus on the 400 meters, no hurdles. So the flat race, more speed, different training, of course, very similar, but it's a big deal to dedicate your season to a different event. We also saw her in Grand Slam track, trying out other fun stuff like the 100-meter hurdles and the 100-meter sprint, which is not at all her specialty, and she performed extremely well. A versatile champion athlete who knows how to peak like no one else. So now, please go watch this video. We have the 3 fastest women of all times lining up on the track together to go for the World Championship gold. Wait, Brad, what about the world record that says 1985 from East Germany? You know what? It's time we start talking true about the doping era of track and field, as well as many other sports. But back in the 80s, doping was rampant when the Eastern Bloc and the Iron Curtain fell down. It has now been validated with medical records that there was systematic doping taking place by the Eastern Bloc nations, namely the track and field powerhouses of Russia and East Germany. So the women's, quote, world record in the 400 and 800 has been untouched for decades. And I'm not going to criticize those athletes too much because they were victims of a very regimented system where we know about the East German child selection when they were little kids. If they were good at gymnastics and they were 5 years old, they were plucked from their hometown, plucked from their parents, and they went to these national training centers where they were trained like crazy to prepare for those Olympic careers. The gymnasts debuted when they were 13, 14, 15 on the Olympic stage. Who can forget Nadia Comaneci, 15 years old, getting that perfect 10? But the track and field athletes were put into the system with, they weren't even allowed to defect back then. Remember, they had to sneak out in the middle of the night and meet down in the hotel lobby and get whisked off to a Western nation. So they really didn't have a choice like we consider today. An athlete who decides to go to the dark side and dope certainly has choices. But boy, I don't think we should keep calling these world records that date back 40 years ago to the doping era. Instead, we should celebrate what Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone just did, winning the gold medal against the amazing Morelide Polino from the Dominican Republic. In recent years, she's been the dominant 400-meter runner in the world, and Salwa Nasser from Bahrain, the 1 and 2 females on the circuit for the last several years, and now they have to face Sydney, get rid of the hurdles, and let's see how she does on the open track. And to watch these 3 women coming down the home straight with some of the fastest performances of all time, I'm going to call it the first, second, and third fastest performances of all time by a true female who was not doped in one single race in Tokyo on a rainy night here in September of 2025. Go on to YouTube, watch the women's 400-meter final from World Athletics Championships Tokyo, and maybe you'll be drawn in to the many other fantastic competitions. Whew, if we want to put up another must-see video, it's the great Mondo Duplantis in the pole vault, setting another world record. going up to a bar 20 feet 8 inches in the air, under pressure on his third and final try, with the stadium silent, and then clapping rhythmically at his request to see this guy perform at his peak. I also saw a beautiful Instagram post recently where it showed all the records that Mondo has set throughout his life, and it started at age 5. So the kid famously grew up with a pole vault pit in his backyard. His father, Greg, was a champion pole vaulter in his day, and he was at it from the very beginning. So we talk about, hey, don't over-pressurize kids, don't put them into sports too early, don't specialize, but sometimes it works out okay. Tiger Woods was a pretty good golfer at age 2, and he carried on, and Mondo Duplantis was sticking the pole in the box at age 5 and jumping over some pretty impressive bars. When he got to 11 years old, they showed the world age group record at 5, 6, 7, 9, 11. When he was 11, he jumped 12 foot 10 inches, which is almost the exact height that my very, very athletic friend Robert Bennett cleared in the city championships of Los Angeles to take 6th in the entire city as a high school senior after a lot of hard training. That would be rough to lose to an 11-year-old kid unless you knew it was Mondo Duplantis and he was on his way to setting a dozen or more world records. So I'm going to urge you, if you have a little bit of time, go watch the women's 400-meter finals. McLaughlin-Levrone, Moralidi Polino, and Salwa-Eid Nasser, and the other great athletes that filled those 8 lanes to make the finals. And then go watch the pole vault Mondo doing his thing. Amazing blend of speed, athleticism, gymnastic ability, spatial awareness, all the things you need to have that much power to bend that really heavy, long pole and spring into the air, spring into the sky, and clear the bar. I'm a track fan. I love it. I want to bring you in a little bit, and these are some good events to start with. Thanks a lot.